and that everybody else around us is also in. And with a strong intention to free ourselves from this and help others free themselves from it, then let's generate the bodhicitta and listen to the teachings on great compassion. Sometimes when we talk about renouncing cyclic existence, the question comes up, well, why should I do that? I mean, my life is kind of okay now. It's kind of comfortable. I have a reasonable amount of contentment, you know, a reasonable amount of happiness, and I have friends, I have a place to live, I have food, I'm successful in whatever my career is, and, you know, life is good. So why should I want to leave cyclic existence?
Where are you going next?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. Yeah, from the viewpoint of, you know, I'm always here in this situation, it seems like there's nothing particularly to worry about, you know, because we're not going to be one of those people who loses their job or whose house gets repossessed, or we're not going to be one of those people who get cancer or, you know, kidney disease or HIV, or, you know, that's not going to happen to us. You know, so life is good, and, you know, there's some ups and downs. That's okay, you know, because I know the downs, then I know the ups. If I didn't have bad times, then I wouldn't appreciate all the good things in my life. Yeah, so I really appreciate everything good that I have. Yeah, so where I'm going next, I don't know, that'll take care of itself.
Right.
Yeah, right. So why should I worry about where I'm going next? Anyway, I'm not really even sure if there is another life. Maybe there is just this life. And then after this life, then it's all over. So then nothing to worry about. So why should I bother about all this Dharma stuff? You know, I mean, let's just enjoy. Makes sense, huh? Oh, okay, let's go. Shut down the Abbey, let's go. You know? Yeah? This is concern, you know, question or doubt ever come in your mind? Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people out there, and they have very good lives, you know, very good relationships. You know, a little bit of relationship problem, but not too bad. You know, of course, we don't know what really goes on, but, you know, it couldn't be that bad. And, you know, we always have enough food to eat, and pretty good life, no complaints, you know, especially, you know, like we were talking this morning about people in Somalia or whatever. That's not my situation. That's never going to happen to me. I mean, the U.S. is a superpower. We're always going to have comfort and luxury in this country, and, you know, and I have a good education. I can go off, and, you know, there's always going to be a job I can work at, and once I have a job, I have money, then I can get everything I want, and, yeah. Right?
Good. Yeah. And you wake up from your fantasy.
And what?
Time to wake up from your fantasy.
Yeah, why?
I think that's what the Romans did.
It's not a fantasy. I've been living like this for the last, few decades, and my life's okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you don't believe me?
I believe you that the last few decades your life is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so why shouldn't the next few decades be the same?
Everything changes.
Yeah, but it'll change for the better. It's going to change for the better. Old age is not going to happen to me. I'm going to have a facelift. I'm going to dye my hair. I'm going to the gym. I'm keeping my figure. So, huh?
For how long?
Just, And then, eventually death will come, but, I'm going to have one of those peaceful, sweet deaths. Yeah, I'm just going to lie down, go to sleep, no worry, nothing to be afraid of, and, I'm sure I'm going to die like that. Why shouldn't I die like that? Car accidents happen to other people.
Me?
They don't happen to me. Yeah. So, why should I bother about all this Dharma stuff?
You sound like those guys going over to Iraq.
Explain.
Well, I was thinking about the conversation we had about that in the letter that the person wrote you that went to Vietnam, actually. He's talking with the person, the Vietnamese soldier who had turned himself in. They both were sitting there, and he's like, I'm supposed to be teaching at the university in Hanoi right now, and here I am fighting in this war. You just don't know how things are gonna change, and then if you would. So the people who are enlisting, many of them have these unrealistic attitudes of what it's going to be like to serve, and they're coming back, and they're just quite disillusioned because it's not what their expectations were.
Mm-hmm.
So both sides, I don't think that's going to work.
But I'm not going off to fight in a war.
Yeah, but you're having kind of a rosy picture.
Yeah. But why shouldn't I? My whole life has been good like this. Huh?
One car accident in the life is...
Car accidents don't happen to me.
Excuse me. Accidents do happen.
Yeah, to other people.
No.
But not to me. Yeah, that's right, to you. But not to me.
And I said the same thing. I said the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah. And I broke my wrist and I broke my foot.
Yeah, well, that's because you were pulling stuff out of the truck. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I just get my car and go to work and then go out, have a good dinner with my friends and catch a movie and, I go to nice places on holiday. And
Create what kind of karma with all of this?
oh, I create very good karma. I'm very generous to my friends. We go out to dinner and I pay for them. And I give away, I write checks every Christmas to different charities. So I'm generous. I'm a kind person. I don't get too mad at my family. I have a good family. Don't get mad at them.
You said you didn't get too mad at them. There's a difference.
Well, once in a while, but that's nothing, It's just misunderstandings. Yeah, nothing serious.
Misunderstanding you.
Huh?
They're misunderstanding you.
Oh, yeah. But, it doesn't last too long. They come to their senses fairly quickly.
And I can have samsara and the Dharma too. I can have just enough of the Dharma to sort of deal with the rough spots and have peace of mind. I don't have to worry enough samsara because it's actually pretty...
You got it. You got it, man. I have a few little problems, so, I come on retreat or go to a Dharma class, learn a little bit of ways to deal with my mind, say a few mantras for good luck.
Well, what if there is a next? What if there is a next for you?
I'll worry about that when I get to it. Why should I worry about it now? If I think about it now, I won't. If I think about my future life now, I'm not living in the now. Then I'm just, my head's way off in some future that I don't even know exists. I might as well, be here now, like they said. And, Buddha said, live in the present. So I'm living in the present, and I'm enjoying in the present. And the future will come and happen what may. That's fine. I'm a good person, so I don't have anything much to worry about.
That's what the turkeys thought.
Well, they're bird brains. But I have a college education, I'm not a bird brain.
That's a PhD.
Yeah, no, I don't have a PhD. That's also something other people do, but yeah.
So do you only believe some of the things that the Buddha said?
So what?
Do you only believe some of the things that the Buddha said?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all this emptiness stuff, I don't understand this emptiness stuff. And this thing of, pervasive conditioned suffering, I don't know that I believe in that.
Like the Buddha said to question everything he said anyhow.
Yeah, right. He's smart. Yeah, Buddha said to question it, so I'm questioning it.
So you could be a cafeteria Buddhist.
Yeah.
A what Buddhist?
Cafeteria Buddhist.
A cafeteria Buddhist, yeah.
Well, that's what they call cafeteria Catholics, when they just pick and choose.
Yeah.
what to believe.
Well, the Buddha never said that you had to believe everything. And why should I?
Yeah, renunciation made sense in ancient India, but it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense now, not in modern America.
But they didn't have television or anything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so now we have everything at our fingertips. Anything I need, I can go online and buy it with a few clicks.
Yeah, iPod.
Yeah?
So you can get all the chants on your iPod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then? Yeah. What do you mean, and then? I'm going to live happily ever after.
That's true.
Yeah?
What about other people are unhappy?
Well, that's because they can't get their lives together.
Depending on other people?
Huh?
Are you not depending on other people?
Yeah, I depend on them. But, they come through for me because I choose the reliable ones.
Was it that you are the cause of their suffering?
I'm not the cause of their suffering.
No, but you are using iPods, an example?
Yeah, how's that causing suffering?
Yeah, maybe if you think of the Chinese people who are working in the factory.
But I'm giving them a job.
Yeah, but it's a terrible job. They're suffering, they get sick there, they have a low loan.
Yeah, but they want those jobs. They do. I mean, the Chinese are very happy to have those jobs. In places where there's child labor, those kids are very happy to have those jobs.
Do you think it's healthy for the environment?
Not especially, but future generations will take care of that. It's okay. It'll be okay while I'm alive, and because science is advancing, so they're going to take care of all those environmental problems. They just haven't invented the things they need to do it yet, but they will, because science and technology is advancing. Yeah. And those people who are unhappy, it's really because they just can't get their lives together, Nothing much I can do for them.
Do you experience some of the things that Buddha talked about? Like, if you sit down too long, do you want to stand up? If you stand up too long,
Oh, yeah.
sit down?
Yeah.
You were born, right?
Yeah.
You're getting older, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you get sick sometimes.
Well, yeah, once in a while.
Okay, so how
But not too bad.
So do you feel suffering sometimes in your mind?
Yeah, but like I said, I have these small sufferings, so they make me appreciate happiness more.
Yeah, so you believe a lot of things that the Buddha says, but why don't you believe the other things then? Because if that makes
Because it's not my experience.
not yet.
What do you mean, not yet? Are you threatening me? Yeah, not yet. But like I said, I'll worry about that when I come to it. You know, because even if I do get sick, I mean, they have all these drugs now. I had a friend who was a hospice nurse. I mean, she said there's no reason for anybody to die in pain anymore. You know, there's enough drugs that you can take and you won't die in pain.
Even if you get depressed.
Yeah, then I take some Zoloft or Prozac or something.
But what about the lions, the tigers, and the bears? Oh my!
I got lost in the jungle here. How did we get to lions and tigers and bears? Ho ho!
They're probably going to go extinct.
Yeah, well, that's no problem.
Doesn't that bother you?
No, because, I mean, Buddha said that those beings in the lower realms suffer, so if they go extinct, then they're not suffering.
So you believe in the lower realm?
But
Well, I see animals. Yeah, so beings go extinct, then they don't suffer.
Well, how do you know that your indifference to all of these problems is not creating some kind of karma that you don't even know about and you're going to end up in the lower realm?
Oh, that's just fantasy, you know, you're all caught up in your head. You know, philosophy, head stuff, you know, karma, what's this? You know.
You're generous, and what about ethical life?
Yeah, I'm generous. I live an ethical life. I don't, you know, I mean, I lie once in a while, but that's just because the government's always trying to cheat me out of my hard-earned money. So, you know, if I don't pay all my taxes, it's not that I'm lying, it's that they have unfair laws.
So you do non-virtuous actions?
Oh, that's not non-virtuous, that's virtuous.
You said I lie some of the time.
Yeah, but my lying is not non-virtuous.
Why not?
Virtuous lying?
Yes, because the government is cheating me.
No idea.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, the government's cheating me. They have unfair rules and regulations. So I should stand up against unfair rules and regulations. You know? So
an ethical way to do that.
I am. I'm just refusing to, you know, pay the unfair taxes.
Do you have any friends? You're pretty friends.
I have lots of friends. Yeah?
I feel like you're doing this caricature and everybody's laughing really hard, but with the exception of like the getting out of your taxes and stuff, I feel like you're really describing the sort of life that I have, which is like, I go to a job that I'm comfortable with, I have friends who I care about, I go out to dinner, I go to the movies, you know, I go to my Buddhist programs on the weekend. I feel like, you know, with the exception of this like sort of broad kind of callous attitude about like, well, what happens to the environment? I mean, you're describing me like driving my car to work and whatnot, and so I'm really grappling with this, and I'm really grieving. I feel like everybody's laughing really hard, like you're not talking about their friends and neighbors, and I feel like you're really actually talking about like me, and so I want to hear what you're going to get to.
What I'm gonna what? Get to?
What you're going to get
She wants the punchline.
I want the exaggeration to stop. I want to hear, you know, because I feel like it's really it's a really sincere struggle. So I'm, you know.
And we're making fun of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of lightheartedness, but I just, you know, like I'm waiting.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for somebody to give me a good argument.
Do you believe in enlightened beings?
Huh?
Do you believe in
Oh, yeah. I
So what are
believe.
their qualities?
Well, they're loving and compassionate
What else?
and wise.
And are any of those things?
No. A little bit. So that's good enough.
Would you like to become an enlightened being?
Maybe.
There's some hope here.
Is it easy?
For you, yes.
And you're already compassionate.
Yeah. And generous and ethical. And I'm very patient with people. I mean, there's all these idiots out there. I'm very patient with them.
I'm surrounded by them.
I'm surrounded by them. You see, you said it, not me.
Have you ever considered that what all those things that you're thinking are, even though you're really sure that you're all those things, that maybe just by some small chance that you're operating on a level of illusion or a level of not really realizing the truth, that you think those things are good and that you're good, but in reality you're really kind of just barely good?
You're in cahoots with her.
Are you happy?
Yeah. I'm very
Would you
happy.
like to explore a different kind of happiness? Would that be interesting to you? Because right now it's low-level happiness, and there's
I'm not low level. I have a very good happiness. See, you understand me very well. I'm fine. You know, they're both lawyers. They understand me. Yeah?
But would you be willing to consider that there's another kind of happiness? You say you're open and you're intelligent.
Oh, there might be other kinds of happiness, sure.
Would you like to try meditating in a certain way so you can...
My back hurts too much. I don't have the pay. I can't sit still. I'm like that guy in Boise, you know. I can't sit still.
Do you have any problems?
I have a few problems, but they're not major, yeah?
Meaning. What's the meaning of your life?
What's the meaning of my
What
life?
is your life in service of?
Just, enjoy, be a good person, be kind to other people, and enjoy.
And that's fulfilling? You don't have any aching, or you don't feel like there's something missing? That's what's completely...
Basically, more or less, I feel pretty content with that. You know? I mean, once in a while I look at somebody like Martin Luther King and I think, wow, he really lived a incredible life, and it would be very good to be like him, but that's just not the life I was born into.
What are your sorrows?
My sorrows? Well, I should have been able to graduate with honors, but somebody else got that position. There was a lot of bias, against women. So,
But you
huh? But I don't have too many regrets.
What are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of? Dogs that bark? Huh?
What about death?
Death? It'll take care of itself. Why should I be scared of it? It's going to happen anyway, so I'm not scared. And, normally I would be afraid of the pain that happens before death, but like I said, there's enough meds now, so you don't need to die in pain.
Does it mean that only a Buddha can help different persons? Does it mean that only a Buddha can help different persons like you?
That only a Buddha can help persons like me?
Yeah. Because we're, it's like you're beyond reason. Beyond reason.
I'm beyond redemption?
Just like my oldest daughter.
Okay, very nice people.
Yeah,
Really nice people.
yeah. See, she understands me too.
You said that you admired Martin Luther King, that
Yeah.
you wished you could be more like him.
Yeah.
Well, think about the fact, if you go and read his story,
Mhm.
he changed. He wasn't always the person that you read about.
Mhm.
You know, he started out as a little squealing baby, and he went through all these steps. He grew up, he learned all these things,
Mhm.
and then he really learned how to get involved in others' lives with compassion.
Mhm.
And so, because he changed, everybody's capable of changing. So you could be like Martin Luther King, and even more, if you decided to. And you said you were open to things?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I could if I decided to, but I'm kind of happy the way I am now, and it's an awful lot of effort, you know. I don't want to go to prison like he did, and, you know, deal with the cops like he did.
And you don't think that something drastic might happen tomorrow? Like, where do you live? You're not.
Here! I live right here.
Because I can make something drastic.
Oh,
Change your life.
you're definitely threatening me.
No, I'm actually afraid of something really just out of the blue. I mean, you always hear about it with other people, right? And it always
Yeah.
happens to other people.
Right.
There's no chance that you could even engage in one small iota of a thought that you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, walk out the door, and boom, something weird is going to happen, just out of the ordinary, and you're going to be in a situation that you do not have any control over at all whatsoever.
Earthquake.
That you're not even capable, that your Diners Club card is not going to get you out of it. You know, your best friend is nowhere, your car doesn't work, and
Well, my car works. Yeah, I have a few credit cards, and I won't open up the front door. What's the worst going to happen? That the turkey pooped in front of my door.
it could be a barking dog.
I'm not a barking dog. Yeah.
Well, you're a very wise and talented teacher. I am suffering.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask that you please help us. That's not kidding.
Yeah, I know you're not. Do you have your answer?
What if you're wrong?
Hmm?
What if you're wrong?
What do you mean, what if I'm wrong?
What if you're wrong, and when you die, it doesn't just all end, and you do have consequences for all the choices that you're making that go on infinitely. But
Then-
this isn't the only life.
Then I just live with it.
That's a bad bet.
Yeah.
I hope you have a fortunate life, and I rejoice in your good fortune. I mean, I have many friends who talk to me just like this, and I rejoice in their good fortune and hope that they have a good life. And I mean, if they're not interested, there's not much point.
Mhm. And what do you think about what is your view on this?
On
Yeah, well, you have a lot of friends who talk like this, and so you wish them well.
right.
Yeah, but what about yourself? How do you
Well,
view
it's
that?
I wish, I make prayers for them, you know, that they might be able to meet the Dharma in the future. But, you know, or meet the person who would be able to speak to them where they're at,
Mhm.
because it really isn't me.
Mhm.
So, you know, hope for them that they meet somebody that can offer that, and hope that they do have a peaceful life.
But what's your worldview?
My worldview would be that, you know, aging, sickness, and death pretty much trumps everything for me. And, you know, that that I'm seeking a higher purpose, and a lot of the people I'm talking about are also seeking a higher purpose, but they have a different way of thinking about it, and a different worldview. They see things very concretely, and as like one friend tells me that he believes in rebirth, but there will be a spiritual guide there for him who will decide what's best next lesson for him, and that there's no possibility of hell realms, and that's just out, and no animal rebirths, just forget that. And, you know, there's not much I can say to him at that point except just listen to him and you know, hope for the best.
But do you believe what he believes?
No.
What do you believe?
Well, I believe in past and future lives. I believe that, and definitely believe in karma, and that, you know, things are changing moment by moment, and that what I'm experiencing today is a result of what I did even a few minutes ago. That's fairly clear to me. So, and that that there is a bigger purpose to life, and that people do suffer. There are many people suffering, even if you personally are not right now. And I can't leave them out of the equation.
I think a seed has been planted in your mind by all these people just saying these things. Maybe it takes just time, because right now you're in this state of contentment, and I know what you mean, but that contentment doesn't last. And so right now we can try and convince you that it's not going to last, but you're going to have to experience it. So sooner or later, you'll get sick, and then that seed that all these people have planted in your head might make you think there's something to do about it.
Sadly, I think you've just been a marvelous teacher, you and many others. And I don't know about the rest. I'm just having tremendous compassion for you right now.
I used to believe all of those things that you said you believe, the good life, the house, you'll never be foreclosed on, you'll never lose your job, and you do, you got a college education, and yada. And I have to say I've had a good life, but even while I was saying those things and living that life, I felt like I was tiptoeing across the Grand Canyon on a string, and it only takes one misstep, and all of that is gone. I don't have cancer, but my sister has had it 3 times. My parents are dead. My aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas are dead, and they didn't die quiet, peaceful deaths. There was always something ugly involved. And I just, I think the theory about the good life, and you can prepare yourself, and you can do everything right, and you can have the education, and you marry a nice guy. Very nice, except it's not really true. It appears to be true sometimes for some people, but you can't count on it.
You can't what?
You can't count on it. You can't rely on it. It's not dependable.
Well, I feel like I was in a little bit of a time warp a few minutes ago. When Tree had put her, there was something that happened right there. Was that something that was very important that happened right there? That seemed like it slipped by some people, and we went and it kind of rolled past. And is there any way to back up to that moment when that moment happened, and you could teach us something about that? Because I just felt there was something at that moment. That was what the answer was. And that we didn't have to, yeah.
You don't have to work anymore, and
Yeah.
you're already there.
And that you were ready to give us a teaching at that point. If we could just
Let go.
let go. I don't mean to say wrong to anyone or because other people had other things to say. But it just seems so huge to me.
That's why I asked you if you had your answer.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like in my own, in my own motivations, I feel like, I think of it a lot as like wanting to benefit other people by just me, not being so much of a hassle, like with my own emotions and my own projections and my own, and so it's easy for me to think of in this life, cultivating even sort of more radical kindness and more radical generosity and more radical acceptance of others. And and what I struggle with is how to do that in my regular day-to-day life with the time that I have for practice and the time that I have to go to work. And then the whole question of other lives for me is that is just really hard for me to, it just doesn't make sense to me, sort of like that doesn't.
Did what Tree said touch your heart?
Asking for.
Did what she say touch your heart?
Oh, yeah. But so, I mean, when you said, did it answer my question?
Did it kind of stop you in your tracks?
Yeah. I feel like now I'm supposed to know something that I don't know.
No, just think. Yeah.
Well, you're describing me.
So please teach us, teach me and teach us, because I'm ready to change. Please, that's me.
Why do you want to change, Colette?
Because I like the character you described when I'm in that state of being. I know there's something missing. I know I'm fooling myself. So, I want to change. I want to get out of samsara. And I do want to get all sorts of beings out of samsara.
Now we're all crying. Yeah. So, you can't go on the way you are, but you really want to change. So it's that intensity, that when we get to that point where we really know, we can't continue the way we are because it's just not what there is. You put it very well about, that's your life, but that's not all there is. And at the end of the day, it's not working. Yeah. So it's when we have that kind of clarity on our situation that then, then we really begin to see what renunciation's about, because we really want to change. Yeah. Because we see that there is a different way, and there is another way, and that there is a path out of it, and that you can talk and talk and talk and give all your nice, mediocre philosophy, which was what I was doing. Yeah. But you know at the end of the day that there's something more to life than all of that. You know, and that at the end of your life you want to feel like your life had some meaning and some purpose, and not just for ourselves. Is that what you're... Yeah? So then we know that we, you know, we kind of have to get it together. And this kind of, this way we rock ourselves into complacent sleep, the sleep of complacency in samsara, you know, we just rock ourselves into that, don't we? You know, just like the way I was talking. And yeah, it's all okay. You know, all of our reasons, and kind of there's a shell around it because it's too scary to think of anything else. Yeah? But then we keep ourselves nice and quote, quote, comfortable. You know, my life is good, everything's fine. But, you know, in our hearts of hearts, when we're really honest with ourselves, then we know that that's not all there is. Yeah.
So, I have a question then.
Mm-hmm.
How do we provide help for somebody who is still doing the theater and saying, no this, no fine, no, I'm not going to suffer, I'm not going to this, not...
You have to break through your own, we all have to break through our own theater. Yeah. Because I can't truthfully say I have no theater. I can't truthfully say that, you know, my mind is seeking enlightenment 24/7.
I'm confused.
Okay. What I'm saying is, you're asking, how can we help somebody else who is giving all these reasons and everything? And I'm saying, you have to be it. Yeah. That thinking of how I'm going to help somebody else be it, sometimes is an exit left. In other words, we have to have that renunciation in our own heart. And what I'm saying is, I don't know about you, but I don't have that. Yeah. So for me to say, how can I break through somebody else's sheen, you know, their saran wrap.
I misunderstood. I thought you were asking us to help this person who...
That's what I thought you were asking. How can we help other people who are stuck in this way?
I mean, the original caricature?
Yes.
I thought you were asking us to help that person to break out of that.
Yeah, I was having a debate. And I was being that person and, you know, seeing what reasons you people had for why I should change.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And you all had lots and lots of reasons. But it was Tree that did it. Let me just, before you say that, and that's what I mean, you know, we all had lots of reasons, but we have to be it.
With what Sri and Colette said, there's also something that I've heard you say a couple of times over the last week or so, and you said it again this weekend, not to miss our opportunities. And that has really, really struck a huge chord with me. All the times you've said it and what other folks are saying. because we have, being here this weekend, being here, having teaching, having a teacher, we have all this opportunity, and it's so easy. It could be so easy to get sucked back into other things. What has really, really touched me so much that I keep hearing, don't miss your opportunities, because they're not going to keep coming, you know. You keep missing that. So that's really, really struck me too.
Yeah.
I was thinking that I was just like that when I was younger, and probably until I was in my 30s, because I had this belief in like this dream, you know. I always call it the pipe dream that kind of burst. And I don't think I could really see beyond that. And what I'm quite grateful for is that, well, life takes care of that generally, because the sufferings come whether you have that pipe dream in your mind or not. And then what I'm grateful for is that at some point I had the teachings so that I knew there were solutions, you know, like there was, the sickness finally became known to me, and the doctors and the medicine was there, which wasn't really the case always, you know, not everyone has that. So I think I kind of feel like everyone has to experience their own suffering and come to a place where they know for themselves they need the medicine. And so then, as you were saying, to have those seeds, you know, just to have the exposure or something, to know that there is a medicine there. So you're not just lost when it happens, you know, because I don't think you can fabricate it. You can't make yourself have these experiences, but usually life kind of takes care of that.
Yeah, and life takes care of it, but if we have never had the opportunity to hear the Dharma, or if we don't believe in the Dharma when we get sick or one of those things happens, then we rely on our old methods because we don't know that there's an alternative way.
But as you watch people that you know and love use these methods, you see how they don't work. I mean, you know,
the old methods.
Yeah, you just walk into a hospital and see how many people are there because they have alcohol problems. Or you go into the prison and see how many people there because they were on alcohol. Or you just, you know, watch people that you work with and or you know, you really know something about their lives, and you see, you know, well, they choose this and this and this and all these ways that we distract ourselves, and you see how they don't work, and you see how they get stronger and stronger, and pretty soon, you know, when you're in your 20s and I got to relax, so I take a drink, then you see your person in their 50s and they're like, and you see the people who, you know, all these kind of addictions, and you know you're not any different.
Yeah. But if you haven't had the fortune to meet the Dharma, then you don't see any other alternative. Yeah.
And I remember when I was in college, a friend of mine said, you have so much energy. Why don't you use it in a way that has to do with compassion? Because I was playing sports all the time, and I was starting my career and all that, and college into it. And I had no clue what he was talking about. I didn't even know what that meant. I've never forgotten that conversation. It was like, compassion?
Yeah.
You know, I was just so in my own world and too proud.
Too proud?
Yeah, because I think there's a kind of arrogance that I didn't recognize that doesn't allow you to really see the suffering of others. You're kind of
especially in America, especially in the West.
Those four intoxications that Venerable Santin read from the Buddha's sutra.
Were you intoxicated with youth?
With youth, with health, with life.
Totally.
I just wanted to share, Venerable, that, you know, when I had the little cancer removed and I was so sick afterwards this last spring, and, you know, I don't care if I die. I think I've done enough stuff that you know, it won't be too bad, and, you know, I've had a couple of near-death experiences, but But, you know, so I'm just thinking on death and going, well, that's not too bad. It can come, I don't care. and then I realized I had this just overwhelming feeling about what about all these people that I have the potential to help, but I don't. What's going to happen to them? I mean, I just had this, I didn't have object compassion like that very often, but being at that place, at that space, you know, the reality of if we turn our backs on people, you know, if we turn our backs on them, who's going to help them? You know? The potential of changing lives is so great because it only takes a little, you know, drop in the water, a seed in the, you know, it doesn't take very much to change a life. So then I decided that indeed 93 might be, you know, long enough. I don't know. Eons now they're telling me. I'm hearing is much longer.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all deal with loved ones like you were describing or acting out, and it took me, I didn't realize for a long time, I didn't get it for a long time that, you know, one of the elements of precious human life is having an affinity to the Dharma. Like, you know, it's available to a lot of people just like me. You know, you can tell people that you care about, oh, this teacher's coming, you know, without proselytizing, you know, just people that you think you might have an appreciation for that, but something else, you know, keeps them from coming. And it makes me appreciate not just, you know, how fortunate I am, but when I've seen people like my brother, you know, like all of a sudden, you know, come to the Dharma, it shocks me. It's almost like a miracle, you know, to see somebody that does appreciate it and does, you know, like get into it and transform their lives. It's really rare, you know. And and that's also like the flip side of that is just, you know, just a great sorrow for, like you used to talk about Lama Yeshe, you know, sending all of his puppies away, and then they come back with the same problems, you know. And that's kind of samsara. It's just so almost overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get out of samsara. Very difficult, because it's very difficult to recognize samsara for what it is. You know, because we have all this, you know, we've insulated ourselves. We have, sometimes it's we just don't look and see, sometimes it's we have reasons to explain it away, even philosophical reasons, you know. We have all sorts of stuff that keeps us from really acknowledging the situation we're in. Yeah. And so those times when you get that feeling, like some people did just now, you know, then hold that time, you know. Yeah, because something broke through and you saw something important.
I think we even use the Dharma to make sure that we keep the bubble around us.
Mm.
Because what you were describing, as far as I'm concerned, is every single one of us. Mm-hmm. And we have our various levels of making ourselves okay, because I do practice, or making ourselves okay because I do it for treat every few years. Or, you know, we can go layer upon layer upon layer upon layer about making ourselves okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we take this very precious thing and do it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Okay.
How do we get smart? I just feel like that's dummy.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all working on. I mean, that's why it's important to listen to teachings, to think about them, to put them into practice, you know? That's why it takes energy and effort. Yeah, it's not going to be some miraculous flash, But we have to really have this, you know, we start out on an intellectual level knowing that what I'm doing, there's something not quite right with it. Something's not quite right. I have all the reasons, I can lay it all out, but something's not quite right. And so you start out there, and then you start looking at, well, what is it that's not quite right? You know, what do I really feel in my heart that's not quite right? Yeah. And then we begin to really look at what it is. You know, if it's aging, sickness, death, you know, meaninglessness. Yeah. I mean, each of us may have a particular thing that really hits home. But we look at that and we try and be honest with ourselves about what our situation is. And then we see that there is an alternative. Yeah. Very important, that part, to see that there is an alternative. You know, so when we're really looking honestly at this, which can be quite shocking sometimes and disturbing, you know, we're doing it within the context of knowing there's an alternative. We're not doing it so that we feel our lives are totally meaningless and hopeless. We're doing it because we've heard about the path and we've heard how important renunciation is. And we know that we don't really feel it. And we know that we want to feel it. Yeah, because we want what we know up here to match what's going on. We want what's going on in here to match what we know up here. Oh, Pat?
I was just going to say that it usually doesn't happen like magic, unfortunately, and it seems to be just this peeling of the onion layer by layer by layer. And in day-to-day life, when you're busy with your life, you can have all the awareness of the world, in the world, and see things as they unfold, be aware of them. And so like being here, something that has been very helpful for me, I can be aware of all of it on a day-to-day basis, but until you can sit and contemplate each thing as it comes. So the contemplations and also the meditation with the commentary is very helpful.
Yeah.
Because it stops it in motion. You can take it apart.
Yeah. Well, that's why we come to listen to teachings and then reflect on them afterwards. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood what you meant by renunciation in this context. Are you only talking about a mental attitude?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. The wish to be free of cyclic existence. Yeah. To have that mental attitude really strong in our own hearts, that we wish to be free and we want everybody else to be free too. And when you have that attitude, then how you want to, where that takes you and where you want to go with it, then you don't have to worry so much and trouble so much about it. Yeah, because I think a lot of our indecision of should I do this, should I do that, should I go here, should I go there, it's because we're not really clear in our mind. So we're trying to make an external decision when really what we need to do is create an internal state of mind. And when you have a certain internal state of mind, then what you're going to do becomes very obvious. Yeah. That makes some sense? Yeah. Yeah?
When you said you are it, that really resonated with me. And I was thinking of my family. Like, I have some family, and they will never be Buddhists. And really, the only thing I can do is love them, and if I have a chance to share something that might be meaningful to them, I mean, that's really it. That's all I could do.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do it really well.
Yeah.
I'd like to take care of
Right. You can do that to benefit them, but you can become this yourself. And what you are yourself speaks louder than all the words you say to the other people. Yeah. And that's why people, when, you know, they meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama, some of them have such strong reactions because he has become what he's telling us about. Yeah. And so when you are what you're talking about, that gets communicated in a very different way to everybody else. Yeah. And then, of course, all the reasons and logic and that stuff is helpful. But, you know, there's something about actually being what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you've just changed the prayer where you engage in the practice rather than the more passive wording that it has.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that that's very helpful for me in my practice. Because, I was pretty timid before, but then engaging sort of like, okay, wake up, get off your butt, get out the door, and go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's helping me. So,
Right.
but I still feel like the dumbest Buddhist practitioner.
Don't waste your time comparing yourself to others. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of that self-judgment then.
Yep, you sure do. Okay, so something for your meditation session?